Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about my creative process when I'm making a song. I did make a video like this quite a while back, very similar to this video, about how I record a song, but I felt like my process has kind of changed over the years and evolved. But one thing that hasn't changed is kind of how a song starts. So usually it just starts off with an idea. I can be walking, I can be running, I can be driving, I can be sleeping, I can be eating, I can be cooking in the kitchen, and then an idea will just kind of just pop into my mind. And if I have my phone with me, I usually just grab my phone and make a voice note as fast as I can. Usually it's just in the form of like a melody or a line or even a whole paragraph or a short paragraph of words which kind of have like so much meaning to what I'm probably going through in the moment or ruminating and thinking about. So I kind of have to just put it down as soon as possible because it's very fleeting, and a lot of the times that's kind of where my inspiration for songwriting comes. It's never when I sit down and force myself to write. I mean, there are times when I can like sit down and write, but it's kind of harder to get an idea, and I find that it's a bit forced and I kind of have to push myself. And I guess songwriting is a muscle that you develop over time, so it is easy to write once you've been doing it for a very long time, I guess. But for me, I just find personally that my inspiration comes out of nowhere, and usually when I'm doing the most mundane things. My phone is actually like super filled with different voice notes, maybe hundreds, maybe even thousands of voice notes, and just ideas for songs that come to me at the most random times. A really good question that I got on Instagram, which I want to answer in this video, is where does my inspiration for songwriting come from? And I don't want to sound cheesy and corny, but my faith is like a huge part in writing songs, and all the best concepts come from scripture and from reading and praying and meditation. For me is like a huge part of my songwriting process and even just my life. It's where I get my energy and my inspiration from. My inspiration comes from God and my relationship with God, and a lot of my songs, if you probably noticed, have like kind of like a contemplative worship style. Like it's more like a prayer or like a conversation with God. And I also like to write anything that I'm talking about in the form of a parable, so you kind of have to almost decode it so that you can understand what I'm putting in the song. And another inspiration for me is usually stuff that I see go wrong in society or in my own life, and even good things. Like when I'm happy or when I'm sad, I find it's easier to channel that emotion into a song. So like a lot of my inspiration for songwriting comes from personal experience. So usually once I have an idea and I want to develop it further, I like to just sit with my guitar and go through my voice notes and see if there's like a phrase or a chorus or a hook that I can develop into a full song. And so I will play through every single voice note that I would have recorded over the past week or so, and just see if I can pick up on something and expand it into a full song. I've also been going through YouTube recently and playing type beats because I have to produce a lot of my music myself. So I like to find a reference track for the song that I want to create, and usually I look for a song that kind of like matches the theme of the song and the message that I'm trying to put into music. I used to produce, blindly. I used to just take my guitar, record it, add, the other instruments off the top of my head. But I found that it was a lot harder to get stuff done, and it took a lot longer, and like it takes so much less time to create a song than it did before, where I was just kind of experimenting and moving blindly. And so now I just I use an instrumental. I try and find like a free type beat online and then use that as a guide. Okay guys, so I think I found a backtrack which I really like. It's the wrong key and some of the chords need to be changed, but the general vibe is what I'm excited about. So I'm gonna take this track into my DAW, which is Digital Audio Workstation. So once I find a type beat that I like, I download it and put it into my DAW, and then I just kind of mumble through the track and finish off the lyrics, which I would have started and maybe not finished. And I like to just play with different words and different sounds and see different melodies, how they kind of match with the style of the track. Okay, so once I'm happy with the song lyrics and I'm comfortable with the way the melody should go and everything, that's when I hop into production, and then I remove that type beat and just recreate my version of it. And not much has changed in terms of production in like the order of events. So I still record the guitar first. I feel like the guitar is a fundamental part of my songwriting, so I always make sure that I record that first. And then I hop into the drum making machine and I add some kicks and hi-hats and cymbals. And after I'm happy with the drums, then I go back in with some bass and then keyboard, and then I just add like extra riffs, and I like to find like different textures, instruments, and like even make like weird sounds with my mouth and like beatbox and pops. And there was one song I did where I actually had like the sound of bones cracking. Hurt, people hurt, people hurt, people hurt, hurt, people hurt. Hurt, people hurt, people hurt, people hurt, hurt, people hurt. In my one song, Parachute, I had like a lot of sounds of like whooshes and swishes, because I was trying to capture that feeling of like falling through air. So if you listen through the song, there's a lot of like whooshes and cool things and wind and stuff. And because I just wanted to capture that idea of like flying through air and going through space. And yeah, I just love to experiment with different textures and different patterns. It adds so much more life to the song. Yeah, this is the best time for me, is like when I'm producing a song. It feels like I'm writing a song, but writing it without lyrics. So I really go wild and crazy. Usually around this time, when the lyrics are done and I've kind of sang through the track with some rough vocals, this is when I start thinking of the visuals. So sometimes I even just use the scratch recording and make a video before I do the final vocals. And then I go back and do the final vocals, or I take it to a studio and get it like professionally recorded. But usually at this time I start thinking of the visuals, and I think that's just the way my brain is, like visually and sonically, and try and match those two worlds together. And that's why I'm tired all the time, is because I do everything in the whole productions, video, everything. Like my brain is always actively thinking of the full picture. Anyway, after I've done the scratch vocals, what I will do is I will record the final vocals and then either send it to a friend of mine to mix and master, or sit and mix and master myself. And what this usually entails is like, it's just sitting and choosing like the best takes. I would do the verse 4 times and the chorus 4 times and the bridge 4 times, and like just choose the best out of those 4. Or sometimes you can even like grab words which are like fitting better or sound better, or like your better pronunciation than the others. I really recommend this because like human beings, we're not robots, so we can't like pronounce everything perfectly every time. So I recommend that you do like 3 or 4 takes, and then you just kind of chop it and mix it all together. When I listen back to my old songs, I would just sing one take and be like, this is fine, and I listen back and I'm just cringing. Yeah, you know, you learn the hard way that you need to kind of give it some time to develop and not just go with what's quickest. I'm learning that every day. But yeah, after mixing and mastering, that's when I will play the song for my friends, I'll play it for my mom, I'll play it for even people on Instagram, on Instagram Live, and then I'll just ask if there's like anything that I can add or remove, and go back and just like tinker it with some more so that it's like the best version of the song that I could possibly create. And then yeah, that is how I create a song, people. I hope that this was helpful. I don't want to go into like too much technical detail in this video, but if you want a video like that, maybe I can give you like a sneak peek into like some of the gear I use and software and tips and tricks when recording and things like that, so that you can also apply it to your own creative process if you're creative. I'm just assuming that you're a creative person if you're watching this. But yeah, guys, that is my songwriting and song creation process. I hope that you found this video interesting and insightful. Like I said, my music is all down below if you want to take a listen. Follow me on all social media if you want to keep in touch that way. So yeah, guys, that's the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday with another episode for Behind the Songs.